This is a continuation of the clip that I was doing before I left off. I was talking about the manufacturing of the excess produce from the markets. Whilst we shouldn't let them go waste, it will be good for government to help create local industries by encouraging local industrialists, sourcing loans for them, letting them get all the machinery that is possible in helping sustain, preserve, and making use of post-harvest losses to a higher degree. Now, somebody will say, well, but the market will be saturated with loads of food, and so the price will be very low. But the truth of the matter is not about the market being saturated with loads of food. But what is important is that a satisfied people are happy people. That one should note that. And what is also important again is this: the sustainability of this school feeding program is only when we can actually produce and manufacture our food even if they are more than we need. When I say manufacture, I'm talking of packaging. I'm talking of packaging and sustaining the program as well. Now, we all know that when this program becomes self-sustaining, the tendency of any outside influence over time will be eroded. The creation of excess employment in the fish and farming industry will increase, much as the produce will also create employment for countless number of people. The government, like I said, should help local industries, local industrialists who are interested in going into food manufacturing or food production, food packaging, to get the needed technology required. They will require, to enhance their packaging prospects. And whilst they do that, it is the job of government as a matter of agency to source for an external market within West Africa and outside the sub-region, and possibly in the rest of the world, wherever people want to buy food that has been packaged and packaged properly, then we sell them to them. Government has got to facilitate the sales of the packaged food by sourcing markets both within West Africa and beyond, as I've already said. This is the work the Ministry of Trade and Industry is supposed to be doing. This is what government is supposed to be looking at. First and foremost, to sustain the school feeding program, invest in the farmers. In economics, when we say in the long term and the short term, none of them can be measured. Sometimes the short term can be the long term, and the long term can be the short term. Therefore, because it cannot be measured, we could easily say, as we all know, by virtue of the time that it takes for manioc to be ripe for harvest and plantain, so we say that by that time limit, that is how long government's investment in the farmers will take. When it comes to fishing, we know our fishermen, they leave late in the night and they come home at dawn. So that is how long government's investment in the fishermen will take. So what does that mean? What that actually means is that the returns for government is immediate. Whilst with the foodstuffs, we cannot guarantee the government to get immediate returns because it will be in a space of 3 months, 6 months, and a year plus. we can easily say for the fishes, when they give them a week, they will start seeing results. In the same vein, we could say that government could make excess cash available and buy from the market as it is right now foodstuffs that will be used in the space of about 3 to 6 months for the program, whilst the farmers also continue to plant their seeds and wait for the harvest season for them to harvest their crops. This isn't a hard thing to do, but I do know and I do accept that people will say, well, we are not in a social welfare system. We have no option but to be in a social welfare system, whether we like it or not. If we actually want development, this is how we should go. Because the school feeding program by itself, by its nature, is a social welfare program. Therefore, what government can actually also do is to make sure that whilst it strives to sustain this credible program or laudable program, as I'm commending them for doing such a thing, it is also important that they invest highly in education, build huge libraries, pay teachers properly, make sure the teachers stay, the professional teachers, the people teachers, all of them, make them love their jobs by giving them the right incentives and the remunerations, so that they will not migrate. Because most Nigerians I've met in Europe and America and wherever I've gone to, every time you tell them you are Ghanaian, what they tell you is that Ghanaian teachers are very good. And if that is the case, how come they can perform very well in Botswana, in South Africa, in Zimbabwe, in Egypt, in Nigeria, and not the same way in Ghana? It's because they are not being encouraged. And this is something that government has to look at. I'm not actually digressing, because this is part of the whole program. Because the children will just not eat and be sitting in the classroom and not study anything if the teachers are also not fed properly. That is why it is important that the teachers are taken care of properly. Once we do this, what will actually happen is this: we throw more money into education. You know what I mean when I say education? I'm not talking of just throwing money around. I'm saying that the textbooks, we should actually encourage our local printing presses to be printing the books instead of giving it to outside sources to print, so that the money stays in our own system. We should make sure that all contracts are given to Ghanaian-led companies. This is very, very relevant. This is how you build a nation, because the money stays in the system and the country becomes solvent. It becomes fluid. People have money in their pockets, and so therefore they spend money, and the people are spending money, and money is going around the system. This is the only way we can sustain our system. Else, if you are giving money to foreigners to give us products that we could otherwise get from our own people, what we are actually trying to say is that we don't trust ourselves, and therefore we are not taken seriously, and so we are abused and insulted anyhow wherever we go. And when we say we are Ghanaians and we are proud people, people will laugh when you turn your back. They are like, oh, look at these people, they are not really serious people. I mean, when we go, they only see us and they just give us businesses. The next segment, I'll talk about this Tullow oil thing, this oil that has been found in the Tano Basin. And I'll tell you why Tullow isn't a British company, but it's an Irish company, and why it is necessary that we actually look for source funds from our own selves and invest in this project and actually start harnessing the oil on our own, setting up a whole entity for this program, for this oil thing, because we already have a refinery. So it will be very easy for us to actually work on that one as well. But you know, if I talk too much, I'll be a bit confused on that one. So I just leave it for now and then do my homework well and come back. Cheers.